They never told you the truth. They never told you why two men can stand in the same storm, yet one drowns while the other sails into fortune. They never told you why two dreamers can plant the same seed, yet only one reaps a harvest that changes generations. They never told you because most people never knew it themselves. They thought success was about luck. They thought greatness was an accident. But history proves otherwise. Every titan you admire, Carnegie, Edison, Ford, Disney, Rockefeller, Jobs, wasn't carried by chance. They were driven by a law few ever master, a law so powerful it bends circumstance to the will of the individual. It is a hidden law of success, and it begins not with your bank account, not with your education, not with the approval of society, but with the inner dominion of your mind. The world wants you distracted, comparing yourself to others, chasing the glitter of someone else's applause. But success is never born from comparison. It is born from concentration. You cannot hit a target you do not see, and most men wander blind because they never dare to choose a definite aim. Andrew Carnegie once declared that the greatest tragedy is a man who dies without discovering his chief definite purpose. For without purpose, power dissipates. Energy scatters. Life is wasted in 1,000 directions, and at the end, regret becomes the only companion. The hidden law is this. Success obeys the one who knows what he wants, who believes without compromise, and who acts with the discipline of a soldier on sacred duty. It is a law that does not bend to excuses. It does not negotiate with weakness, and it does not tolerate hesitation. It rewards clarity. It rewards faith. It rewards relentless persistence in the face of ridicule, delay, and defeat. Picture Edison, hunched over his lab table, thousands of failed experiments littered around him. The world laughed, called him a fool, said he was wasting his life chasing light from fireless filaments. But Edison understood the law. He knew that every failure carried him one step closer to triumph. His mind was welded to his vision like steel. He did not quit, and because he refused to quit, the night surrendered its throne to the brilliance of electric light. Do you see? Success was not a gift, it was claimed by faith, by persistence, by an unshakable decision to win no matter the cost. That is the law. Decide what you want, believe that you will have it, and act as though the universe itself is conspiring to deliver it. Because it is. The universe bends to the will of the one who refuses to bow to circumstance. Lincoln knew it. Born in a log cabin, with no wealth, no inheritance, no polished education, yet he held a vision greater than his poverty. He lost elections. He faced humiliation. He endured personal tragedy, but he never abandoned his purpose. And because he clung to it with unbreakable conviction, he altered the destiny of a nation. Most people will never live this way. They trade their vision for comfort. They bury their dreams beneath fear. They conform to the crowd and call it wisdom. But the hidden law of success does not answer to the crowd. It answers to the individual bold enough to think independently, to believe audaciously, to act with unwavering discipline. Ask yourself, what is your definite purpose? What vision ignites your spirit so intensely that you would sacrifice ease, endure ridicule, and fight through the storms to make it real? Until you answer this, you will drift. But once you decide, once you choose your aim with absolute clarity, the law awakens. Forces unseen align. Ideas begin to appear. Opportunities open where walls once stood. People arrive who were invisible before. Life begins to bend around your vision, because the hidden law is this: your mind is the architect and the world is the clay. But beware, the law is impartial. It will give you whatever you believe in, whether success or failure, abundance or poverty, freedom or bondage. Your dominant thoughts are the commands. If you think small, you will live small. If you expect defeat, defeat will find you. But if you dare to think in terms of greatness, if you dare to believe that fortune, impact, and legacy are your birthright, then the law must obey. The battlefield is not out there. It is in here, between your ears. And until you conquer this inner battlefield, no outer victory can be sustained. But once you master it, once you bend your mind into harmony with your vision, there is nothing on earth that can deny you. The greatest prison is not made of stone or steel. It is built from doubt, fear, and hesitation. Men and women walk freely on the streets, yet their minds are shackled. They wake up, they go to work. They follow orders, but they have already surrendered the throne of their own thoughts. They serve fear like a master, not realizing that fear is nothing but imagination twisted against you. Think of Henry Ford. The world told him it couldn't be done. They said building a car for the masses was impossible, that automobiles were only for the wealthy elite. Engineers, advisors, skeptics, all declared his dream madness. But Ford was deaf to doubt. He understood the hidden law. When your belief is absolute, the impossible dissolves. He ordered his team to build the V8 engine when every engineer told him it could not exist. Months passed, failure after failure, until finally, the invention appeared in their hands. And history was changed forever. What if Ford had listened to the crowd? What if he had bowed to their disbelief? The world would have been robbed of his contribution, and his name forgotten in the dust. That is the fate of the average, the ones who settle for the ordinary, the ones who bow to fear, the ones who never discover that the hidden law waits for those who dare to believe. You must ask yourself, which side are you on? Will you continue living by the rules of mediocrity, or will you rise to the level of those who shape history? Because the law has no favorites. It will serve you in the same measure it served Edison, Lincoln, Ford, Carnegie, or Jobs, if only you meet its requirements. Clarity of purpose, faith without cracks, and relentless action. Do not mistake this law for magic. It demands sacrifice. It will strip away your laziness, expose your excuses, and demand the death of your old self. You cannot cling to weakness and expect greatness. You cannot hold on to excuses and still rise to the throne of mastery. Success will ask for your comfort, your sleep, your temporary pleasures. But in return, it will give you freedom, wealth, influence, and the power to carve your name into eternity. Remember this. Every champion you admire paid the price. Walt Disney went bankrupt, ridiculed, rejected over 300 times by bankers who thought his vision of Disneyland was absurd. But the man who believes does not ask permission from the timid. He persisted until the dream became a monument. Until children laughed in the kingdom, he built from nothing but imagination and resolve. That is a law in action. Faith embodied in persistence, and persistence rewarded by destiny. The tragedy is that most people quit too soon. They endure 1 rejection, 2 failures, 3 setbacks, and they decide the universe is against them. But the universe was never against them. It was testing their resolve. Success is not handed to the faint-hearted. It is revealed only to those who prove they cannot be broken. The storm that drowns a weak is the same storm that polishes a strong. So when adversity comes, and it will, remember, the hidden law is activated by persistence. Every defeat contains within the seed of an equal or greater opportunity. If you have the eyes to see it, if you have the courage to endure it, if you have the will to rise one more time, you will discover that failure was not your enemy. It was your preparation. Think of Abraham Lincoln again. 8 elections lost, countless failures in business, unrelenting criticism. Most men would have buried themselves in obscurity. But Lincoln persisted. He rose again and again until the presidency was his. And with it, the power to preserve a nation. That is a law. Persistence converts defeat into stepping stones, while quitting turns defeat into a coffin. Understand this truth. Your success will not come because it is easy. It will come because you decided that nothing will stop you. The lower rewards are relentless. The stubborn dreamers who refuse to quit, who refuse to settle, who refuse to die without giving the world their gift. The world bends to those who cannot be broken. And here lies the greatest secret. Your thoughts are not private. They are commands of the universe. When you saturate your mind with faith, when you burn your spirit with vision, when you speak and act in harmony with your belief, the law responds. Circumstances rearrange. People are drawn to you. Ideas crystallize in your mind. Doors appear where only walls once stood. But if you saturate your mind with fear, with doubt, with disbelief, then the same law delivers misery, failure, and limitation. The law does not care, it only obeys. Like fire, it will warm your home or burn it to ashes, depending on how you use it. Like electricity, it will light your city or destroy it in a storm, depending on how you direct it. The hidden law of success is indifferent, but it is precise. Align with it, and nothing can stop you. Resist it, and nothing can save you. The hidden law whispers the same question to every man and woman who dares to dream. Do you believe? Not do you wish. Not do you hope. Not do you kind of want it if it's convenient. No. Do you believe without doubt, without compromise, without a backup plan? Because belief is the ignition, the first spark that sets the machinery of success into motion. Without it, nothing begins. With it, nothing is impossible. Faith is the currency of destiny. It is the invisible force that turns nothing into something, that transforms silence into symphonies and barren soil into gardens. Napoleon Hill himself declared, "What the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." These are not empty words. They are the blueprint. Conception is imagination. Belief is faith. Achievement is the natural harvest. But most people abort the process because they never protect their belief long enough to see the fruit. Look at the giants of history. Every one of them lived in a world that doubted them. Edison was called a fool. Disney was mocked as a dreamer. Ford was labeled insane. Jobs was ridiculed by competitors. But they knew the law. The majority is almost always wrong. The masses live in limitation, so their opinions are poison division. If you wish to rise above, you must silence their voices and strengthen your own. Guard your mind as you would guard a treasure. What you allow in will shape what comes out. If you feed it with fear, doubt, gossip, and mediocrity, then mediocrity is all it will produce. But if you feed it with vision, gratitude, courage, and the images of the life you demand, it will deliver it with mathematical certainty. Your mind is not a cage. It is a throne of creation. Rule it, and you will rule your destiny. Neglect it, and you will be ruled by circumstance. Discipline is the sword of the master. Belief without discipline is daydreaming. Desire without discipline is wasted fire. Every man who has built greatness learned to master himself before he mastered the world. Carnegie once said, "A man who cannot command himself cannot command others." Discipline is the proof of your belief. It is faith made visible. When you rise early, when you work relentlessly, when you refuse the seduction of comfort, you are declaring to the universe that you are ready to receive what you asked for. And yes, it will be hard. But difficulty is not the enemy. It is the filter. The struggle exists to separate the ones who truly believe from the ones who only pretend. Those who quit were never serious. Those who persist prove themselves worthy. That is why every setback, every rejection, every season of drought is sacred. It is life asking you, do you still believe? And if your answer is yes, if you keep moving, keep fighting, keep believing, the law opens its gates. Gratitude is another secret most overlook. The hidden law does not respond to greed alone. It multiplies whatever state you live in. If you live in scarcity, seeing only what you lack, it will give you more lack. But if you live in gratitude, recognizing even the smallest blessings as seeds of abundance, the law will multiply them until they overwhelm your life. Gratitude is the magnet of miracles. The man who is thankful in little will be entrusted with much. Adaptability, this too is essential. The law reward persistence, yes, but persistence is not stubborn blindness. It is not ramming the same wall forever. It is the ability to pivot, to learn, to adjust without abandoning your purpose. Think of Edison again, thousands of failed attempts, but each failure was data, each misstep a teacher. He did not quit. He adapted, and that adaptation turned defeat into invention. Success is never a straight line. It is a labyrinth where only the adaptable find their way out. And then comes resilience, the crown jewel. Life will hit you. It will break you down, strip you bare, test every ounce of your strength. But resilience is the armor of kings. It is a refusal to stay down, the audacity to rise again and again until even failure itself surrenders. Resilience is proof that your purpose is greater than your pain, your vision stronger than your wounds. Understand this. The hidden law is not hiding because it is weak. It is hiding because only the worthy will search for it. It is reserved for the few who are willing to think for themselves, to believe against the odds, to act with discipline, to endure with persistence, to adapt with wisdom, to rise with resilience, and to live with gratitude. To everyone else, life remains a mystery. But to you, if you accept it, life becomes a masterpiece. So now we approach the truth that will define the rest of your life. Success is not something you chase. It is something you attract by the person you become. Become the kind of man who thinks in greatness, who acts in discipline, who believes without doubt, and success will be pulled into your orbit as surely as planets circle the sun. This is a hidden law no one taught you, that you are not a victim of chance, not a pawn of circumstance, not a servant of luck. You are the architect, the commander, the ruler of your own destiny. The law is waiting for you to claim it. Rise and claim it, because the world does not need another slave to fear. It needs another giant of faith. It needs another Lincoln, another Ford, another Edison, another Disney, another warrior vision who proves that the impossible is nothing. The law is waiting. The question is, are you?